Welcome everyone to Selective High School Placement Trial Test, Power Thinking Skills Test 31. So as per usual, we have 40 questions to go through today. Let's get started with the very first question. So the first question was a letter pattern question. In this case, they have told you the pattern or the series, and it says that it's the number of letters skipped in between adjacent letters follows the order of 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared. Now you want to figure out which one follows or observes this rule. So to do this, we need our alphabet, and we have one here, hopefully. There we go. And we are going to examine the first one. So I'll just tell you guys, the first one is the answer, A. And let's see why. So the letters we have A, C, H, and R. Now they say that we skip 1 squared, 2 squared, 3 squared letters adjacently. 1 squared is 1, 2 squared is 4, and 3 squared is 9. If you have a look, we're skipping one letter, and then we're skipping 4 letters, and then we're skipping 9 letters. And that's how we get A, C, H, R. If you try B, option C, and option D, they all won't follow this pattern. Question 3, we have another letter question. This time we want to select the letters skipped in between adjacent letters that do not decrease in order. So let's try them. Let's try A. We have E, we have Q, where is it? Q, Z, F, and an I. Okay, so you can see that the gap here is quite big. Okay, it's actually 11 letters. Then the gap here is 8 letters. And then Z to F, the gap would be 5 letters, and F to I is 2 letters. So this one does check out. It decreases as it goes on, so A is okay. Now you want to do the same thing for the rest of the options. B will be 15, 11, 7, 3. I've calculated it beforehand. And C will be 19, 4, 9, 4. So it's going down. D, however, we have P here, and then U. So that is 4. And then U to D, that's a bigger gap. That's 8. So this one is actually not decreasing in size as it goes down. Hence is the right answer. Okay, 5. So we are given a statement that is definitely true. Okay, the two statements in this case. And we want to figure out which of the options is true or must be true. Now, this question is testing your ability to find assumptions, okay, or more accurately, to ignore these assumptions. So they often give a piece of evidence that is very well known or a common bit of information, and they kind of try to trick you by giving you options that make sense or are true in real life, but they're not mentioned specifically in the two statements. Remember, in these questions, don't use any of your prior knowledge. You have to rely solely on these statements that they provide. So Shakespeare was a great playwright, so a person who writes plays, and one of his plays was Romeo and Juliet. That's all they've told us, okay? A, Juliet and Romeo were lovers. Yes, they were, but they don't mention that in the statement, so you can't choose A. Shakespeare wrote poems. Yes, he did, but we are not going to choose it because it does not say specifically in the statement. It says he wrote plays. Okay? And C, Shakespeare's plays were often performed throughout the world. Yes, they were, but we are not going to choose it because it's not in the given statements. Now, Romeo and Juliet was written by Shakespeare. This is directly from the two statements. One of his plays was Romeo and Juliet. Who was he? He was Shakespeare. So D is your answer. Okay, question 8. To become a good storyteller, one must use extensive hand gestures and maintain enough eye contact with the audience. So we want to see whose reasoning is correct. Remember this word and. Okay, and, which means both. So Jason says, I am a terrific storyteller since I always make sure to use hand gestures when speaking, and I also make sure to make eye contact just enough to engage the audience. So from first glance, this sounds like a perfect example as reference to the box. However, the box does not say that this list is exhaustive. What that means is it does not say that to become a good storyteller, okay, these are the only things you need. These are some of the things you need to become a good storyteller, but it does not guarantee that you will become one if you have these two things only. So Jason's reasoning is incorrect because he is very confident. I am a terrific storyteller. We cannot tell. Even though he has fulfilled the two conditions here, the box itself does not say that's the only thing you need. Okay, so Jason's incorrect. Now Leah says, Jason is a terrible storyteller because although he makes use of hand gestures, he uses too much eye contact, which has distracted and creeped out the audience in the past. Now they've directly used this word Jason, the name, to confuse you, okay, to make it seem like she's opposing him, but it might be a different Jason, okay? So ignore the names, just focus on her argument. Leah is actually correct in this case because she says that he has used too much eye contact. Now this bit, too much eye contact, is actually linking with this bit here, enough eye contact. Enough and too much directly oppose, okay? They're opposing ideas, and hence that would be enough of a criteria to say that Jason is a terrible storyteller because he's not a good one, okay? So Leah is correct and A is correct. You can have a read of the solutions if you'd like. Okay, 14, which one is most likely the number that needs to be inside the question mark? So you can see straight away, like I said before, you need to refer to the structure or the layout of the pattern to derive the actual rule. The middle number is very, very big in opposed to the outside numbers. So much so that it makes me think we are working with just digits, okay? But that's actually not the case. What you're doing is you're timesing the top row and the bottom row. See how it's laid out, okay? It's laid out very clearly in a top and a bottom row. And when you do that, you should get, sorry, I figured it out on the side, 240 for this one and 252 for this bottom row. Now, if you add these together, you notice you can get that middle number. And the same applies for the second one. Let's go straight to our one that we want to figure out. So when you times that top row, 4 3s are 12 times 5 is 60. 7 2s 14 times 5 is 70. Add it together and you get 130, or option C. Okay, 22. So we have three tiles to choose from, choice A, choice B, choice C, and they all have different prices for different square centimeters. We want a tile 4.32 meters squared. Which of the three choices are cheapest and which are the most expensive? So this is a little bit of calculation work. You first need to realize that 4.32 square meters, we want to change that into square centimeters to be able to divide. I want you to always think about this square. A 1 meter by 1 meter square is basically 100 centimeters by 100 centimeters square, right? Because a meter is 100 centimeters. So 1 square meters is actually, it's actually 10,000 square centimeters. So you're going to move the decimal back twice. Okay, you get 432 and twice again, 43200 square centimeters. That's the full amount. Now, let's try choice A. A will cost $5 every 540 square centimeters. So we're going to do 43200 divided by 540, and you actually get 80. So you times that by the price for each of the square centimeters, and you get 400. You're going to do the same thing for B and C, okay? And B, you'll actually get 396.80, and C, you're going to get 406.25. So from here, you can see that C is the most expensive, okay? So expensive, and B is the cheapest. So option B is your answer. 25. What is an underlying assumption of the argument above? Let's have a look at the main kind of points. So they're saying that farming of beef has produced one of the largest quantities of greenhouse gases of any industry. Therefore, we should stop eating beef in order to benefit future generations, as lower greenhouse gases would result in delayed climate change. So the passage kind of argues that beef farming and beef eating is one of the largest kind of pollutants or causes of greenhouse gases. Okay, and therefore we should stop eating beef to benefit all the generations. Because the answer is actually A. Okay, because if everyone stopped eating beef, there would be few large-scale impacts to those currently working in the beef industry. So the assumption is that there's few, okay, large-scale impacts. If there were a lot of large-scale impacts, okay, it would not benefit future generations or every member of society, because some of these people of society are working in the beef industry. Okay, so the assumption is that just by banning or stopping beef eating, everyone will suddenly be fine. So A is the best description of that. Arrange the given words in a meaningful order. This one, the answer was A. And the faces are actually increasing by 1 each time. A tetrahedron is basically a triangular, no, that was not a very good diagram. A triangular pyramid, so that's 4 faces. Square-based pyramid has square and then 1, 2, 3, 4 along each axis, so 5 faces. Cube has 6, hexagonal pyramid has 7, and octahedron looks something like that. It has 8. So it's going up 4, 2, 1, 3, 5 for option A. 37, really interesting. So we have a certain substance, it doubles in volume every minute. At 9 a.m., there's a certain amount in a container, and exactly 10 a.m., the container is full. What time is the container 3/4 empty? So since our information is about the fullness, empty, 3/4 empty, it's the same as saying 25% full, isn't it? Okay, a quarter full. Now, at 10 a.m., the container was full, which is 100%. So we want to figure out what the time was when it was 25% full. By proportion, you're going to think, oh, maybe it was just 9:15, 15 past. But that is not the way that doubling works. The bigger the volume gets, the less time it needs to get bigger and bigger and bigger. Okay? So how many times do I need to double from 25% to 100%? We times 2 and we get 50. And we times 2 again and we get 100. So we need to double 2 times. Remember that doubling happens every minute. So doubling 2 times actually only happens in the span of 2 minutes. So from 10 a.m., okay, we're going to minus 2 minutes, and that's how you get 9:58. So at 9:58, it's going to be at 25%. At 9:59, it's going to be at 50%. And at 10 exact, it's going to be at 100%. Okay, you notice the doubling there. So that's why D is the answer. That's a really interesting question. Okay, 38, which strengthens the conclusion. The conclusion here is that the Snowy Mountain Hydro Scheme continues to be a very positively impactful to be very positively impactful on Australia. So what is the scheme? It is a series of dams and pipelines, and they serve the purpose of generating renewable energy and providing a reliable source of water. Excuse me, for irrigation in large parts of Australia. So what would strengthen it? Option C. Okay, it continues to be very positive. So we need it to not have been positive before, or it was not very good before this scheme was invented. So before the scheme, agriculture in much of Australia was unreliable due to the variable amounts of rain. So this scheme directly has helped it become more reliable. And that links to this, and it provides a reliable source of water, and that is a positive impact. And also in much of Australia, links to large parts of Australia. So multiple links here. So C is the best answer. Let's talk about the two statements. Find option which is true questions. Okay, do not use any prior knowledge, okay, to answer these questions. Only use what is given in the question. Okay, they will often provide many widely known correct answers to trick you, to tempt you. Actually, I'm going to change that word to tempt you. So yeah, you need to make sure to only rely on what is given. Okay, you can only, because it says based on these statements, and even if what is given is false, you need to use it. Another one. Let's talk about the people's opinions questions. Okay, you know how decisions questions. Okay, make sure to find direct links between their opinion and the given paragraph. This will ensure you are getting the best option. Okay, be careful though that the statement is weakening or strengthening. So sometimes they say find the one that weakens it, and then they give you an option with strengthening. You don't select that one, okay? Make sure you find one that is actually weakening or strengthening, or vice versa. Okay, so that is actually it for test 31. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that video. Until next time, please review these takeaways as well as any questions you may not understand. Hopefully you guys have a great week. I will see you next week.